The creator of Squid Game, Hwang Dong-hyuk, recently shared a surprising but exciting idea about who he would love to see play Song Gi-hun in an American version of the globally popular Netflix show. And guess what? It's someone who's already a Hollywood icon with a long line of powerful roles under his belt, Leonardo DiCaprio. Yes, the same Oscar-winning star known for films like Titanic, The Revenant, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. In an interview with Vanity Fair, Dong-hyuk was asked who he would cast if the Korean survival drama ever got an American adaptation. Without hesitation, he said, "Leonardo DiCaprio. We had a lot of rumors about him." While this answer came during a light conversation, it's enough to make fans imagine what an American version of Squid Game could look like, and whether DiCaprio would actually take on the role of the desperate and morally conflicted Gi-hun. Adding to the fun, actor Yim Si-won, who was part of the conversation, asked if DiCaprio would play a player or the mysterious frontman. Dong-hyuk answered, "I think he'd do well as a player. Lately, he's gotten good at loser roles like Gi-hun's." That one comment set the internet buzzing, especially among those who followed DiCaprio's recent film choices, where he has convincingly portrayed down-on-their-luck characters with complex personalities. This conversation comes after the dramatic Squid Game Season 3 finale, which aired in June 2025. The ending hinted at a future story arc where the deadly game would move to the United States. Fans were shocked and intrigued when Cate Blanchett made a surprise cameo, leading many to speculate that a new season or even a full American spin-off could be in the works. Though there's no official confirmation about an American Squid Game series just yet, Hwang Dong-hyuk's mention of DiCaprio makes it clear he's been thinking about how the show could translate culturally. More importantly, it also hints that the American version wouldn't stray too far from the original. Gi-hun, after all, wasn't your typical hero. He was messy, broke, emotionally wounded, and extremely relatable. That's the magic of the character, and Dong-hyuk seems to think DiCaprio could tap into those layers effortlessly. Now let's be honest. As exciting as this casting sounds, there's a very slim chance it'll actually happen. DiCaprio is one of the biggest film stars in the world and hasn't done television since his early days on Growing Pains back in 1992. That's over 3 decades ago. Since then, he's become a full-time movie star and has rarely dipped his toe into the TV world. So the likelihood of him wearing a green tracksuit and competing in a deadly children's game on a Netflix series? Probably close to zero. Still, Dong-hyuk's reasoning is worth paying attention to. He points out that DiCaprio has recently been leaning into loser roles, men who are beaten down by life, who fail over and over again, and who try and sometimes fail to rise above it. Look at his character in Killers of the Flower Moon. A weak, easily manipulated man who makes terrible choices. Or in Don't Look Up, where he plays a scientist who can't quite handle fame. Or in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where his character is a washed-up actor facing the end of his career. These roles are all deeply flawed, and that's part of what makes them so memorable. That's exactly what Gi-hun is too. Someone broken who's trying to find his way back to being human. The other angle here is the idea that the American version of Squid Game, if it ever gets made, wouldn't stray far from the tone and structure of the original. Dong-hyuk's comment about DiCaprio being a good fit for Gi-hun suggests that they wouldn't try to Americanize the concept too much. They'd still want that same feeling of hopelessness, desperation, and complex humanity that made the original Squid Game so powerful. However, it's also worth pointing out that there's absolutely no news that an American version is actually happening. No press release. No casting call. No teaser trailer. Everything is purely in the rumor and speculation stage. This means that even Dong-hyuk's comment about DiCaprio could simply be a light-hearted answer to a fun question, rather than any kind of actual casting development. The mention of DiCaprio might just be a way to stir the pot and get fans talking, which it clearly has. Whether intentional or not, the idea of one of the world's most respected actors stepping into the shoes of a deadbeat gambler forced into a life-or-death game is a fun fantasy. But let's not start picking out green tracksuits for him just yet. It's also unclear whether Dong-hyuk would even be involved in an American adaptation. If Netflix were to move forward with it, they might hire a different showrunner entirely, perhaps one more familiar with American storytelling and culture. In that case, his DiCaprio wish might not carry much weight. But since Dong-hyuk is the brain behind the original series, his opinion does matter, at least in terms of vision and character authenticity. Still, the fantasy casting opens up bigger questions about who could actually star in a US version. If not DiCaprio, then who? Would they go for another big-name actor with range and emotional depth? Maybe someone like Jake Gyllenhaal or Adam Driver, who've both played characters with personal demons and emotional baggage. Or could they go the lesser-known route and cast someone fresh to mirror how Lee Young-jae wasn't a massive international star before Squid Game launched him to fame? It's also possible that Netflix wouldn't do a full remake, but rather expand the Squid Game universe, using new characters in different countries. We already saw a sneak peek of this with the international VIPs in Season 1 and Blanchett's surprise appearance in Season 3. Perhaps a new set of players in the US with no direct parallel to the Korean characters would work better. That way, there wouldn't be pressure to match the emotional performances or story arcs too closely. All that said, Squid Game remains one of Netflix's most valuable IPs. It's no wonder the streamer might consider expanding it in any way possible. Remake, spin-off, or even a cinematic universe. Adding a name like DiCaprio, even hypothetically, just adds more fuel to the fire and fan theories that will only grow stronger over time. In the end, this casting idea is probably nothing more than a fun what if. But it also shows how much impact Squid Game has had, not just in Korea but globally. The fact that one of the biggest directors in Korean TV is even being asked who should play an American version of his characters shows how much the show has crossed cultural and language boundaries. Whether or not Leo ever joins the deadly games, the idea alone is a reminder that Squid Game continues to live rent-free in the minds of fans and creators alike. And let's be real. Even if he doesn't join the show, we can all still dream of Leonardo DiCaprio waking up in a dorm full of desperate contestants, looking confused, wearing a numbered tracksuit, and facing a giant doll that plays red light, green light. Now that would break the internet.